All right, welcome to a Lifetime Conversations, where we talk about everything and anything. I'm Rob.
A lifetime of haunted nations.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
Dave.
Dave, and we have a special guest today. It's a friend of ours for a very long time since we're in middle school. Damon, what's up, Damon? How you doing? Introduce yourself. I forgot the Rotten Circus with
Rotten
the clowning
Circus.
monkey.
Damon the Clownface from Rotten Circus.
So before we get started, what exactly is Rotten Circus? Because I've heard you mention it, but I don't know what is it for.
Okay, the Rotten Circus, as of now, is a TikTok channel, which is going to expand into a YouTube channel.
Oh,
And we talk about things that are macabre. We talk about things that are strange and unusual, from aliens to hauntings to serial killers, and pretty much all of that weird stuff that people are interested in. Even I may even pull out a couple tarot cards every now and again, but that's what the Rotten.
well,
Yeah.
the name is perfectly suited because
That's great.
because the circus is quintessential creepy in itself. You know,
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
It's like
Absolutely.
steampunk. It's like steampunk with the music.
Yeah, well, I've got a costume that I wear. It's a clown face, and with the clown costume and the hat.
You
with all
always
the
like
makeup.
clowns, didn't you?
I love clowns.
I know.
So clowns and cows. So I've got
That's
that.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The cows. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I've got that. My little clown outfit. I got a tent that I set up and got my music, and I explain little weird things.
And they're good. I've watched them all, and they're great. We like I said, I'm waiting for you to really take off with some more sustenance, and then we can like all chat about stuff together and
Yeah.
discuss them because they're good. I love that. So we love the macabre here. I'll tell you. Actually, we don't care. We love everything.
Yeah,
But
everything.
it's nice. We haven't ever spoken really about. I don't think we really spoke about ghosts specifically in the paranormal, but when it
Not
came
really.
to
Not at length.
serial killers, we spoke a little bit, but we love that stuff, man. That's why I'm curious to pick your brain. So I mean, if you got something you want to lead with, go right ahead. It's all you, man. You have the floor.
Oh, wow. The guest gets to lead off in the podcast. That's pretty
Of
good.
course.
Oh yeah, it's all about you, man. We do this shit
Oh.
every week.
All right. So, I mean, there's a couple things that I just like to talk about when it comes to paranormal. As far as paranormal goes, there's for, against, there's such a controversy and discussion that comes with it. So
Yeah.
I always like to look at it from a neutral point of view. You have historical accuracy and mythical embellishment, I guess you can call it, to where sometimes the truth of famous ghost stories are just added because, well, it was good at the time. As time goes, one
Yeah.
of the famous ghost stories, based on real historical events and figures, is the London Tower. You know, it, its ghosts are rooted in history because it's a place of execution. But now the tales of the ghostly sightings just add layers of mystery and intrigue to it to make it even better. Even though there may not be ghosts there, people like to talk about it and say, "Hey, the Tower of London is haunted."
Oh yeah. No news is good news or news,
Yeah.
just news. Yeah. Now,
But that
do
makes
you not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but do you personally believe, like, what's your actually belief? Like, if you were to put a percentile to it, like, I know that sounds stupid.
I think I know no, it's not stupid. Um, I want to. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for the evidence so I can say yes, it exists. Now, have I seen it? No. Now, do I have from my time in the military? Do I constantly see shadows moving behind my back and kind of makes me jumpy? Yes. Got
Yeah.
some issues there, but I don't think they're ghosts.
Yeah.
So until I see the evidence, but I do. Part of my channel, once the weather gets a little bit better, I am fully intending. I've got a whole recording set up, and I'm going to go out to some haunted places and look and see what I can see. And I know it's not going to happen that night, but if it does, hey,
You never know.
but I'm going to look. I want to.
I
I'm not
am
scared.
so skeptical. Like I will always try to find some rational, reasonable, scientific explanation for anything what someone saw. I mean, most of the time it's just human hallucination. If you believe it enough, you will see what you want to see. But it's not the fact. And I don't want to tell someone, well, if you believe it, that's fine. Believe it. You're allowed to, by all means.
Yeah.
But when you try to prove it, And it's like you have all these ghost hunting shows. If they found a ghost, the show would be over. Like,
Yeah, I guess, right.
finding
But they're
Bigfoot.
always there.
We found Bigfoot. Show's over, guys. Thanks for watching for
It's
nothing.
like Al Capone's vault.
Yeah, that
But
was empty.
have you personally ever had an experience like you yourself?
No, I'm looking for it. I want it.
Yeah. I've never had one either. Rob, have you? Like anything, I guess
No,
paranormal, something you couldn't explain?
no, I mean, it's things that can be explained, like, sleep paralysis, like the whatever sitting on top of you and you can't get up.
Yes,
That's what,
the
that's
shadow
what
man.
yeah, but that's explained.
No, but I'm saying like something you really thought you saw. Like, I don't know, from what I've heard from people, like these people swear against, like
I
there are
mean,
people that they will put it on a Bible and be like, it was, I telling you, I saw this and he floated in and
I
I'm
didn't
like,
see, I didn't see anything. I've had premonitions and I knew, that they were right and they were, but it was only a
premonitions
couple of
meaning,
times.
like you knew something was gonna happen, like I don't know, or like you had a bad
No,
feeling. Are you talking like gut feeling or?
no, I just knew. Like when I was like I told you before, when I was playing the piano in season 52, and you called me on the phone and I saw your name, I knew exactly what it was.
Okay, but don't you think that's like somewhat part of our
No,
brain being the
I knew.
creature creator? Like we
There's,
yeah.
I gotta say, Dave, there are some
My
times that your
stomach
brain,
dropped when I saw your face. When I saw your name, my stomach dropped before I picked up the
sometimes
phone.
and I don't think that's paranormal. I think that's just a different part of our psyche that's connected. Um, an example, I did now you asked, did I see anything paranormal? No, I have not. But I did see strange things. I talked I my father passed recently, and I was talking to
Right.
him about
Sorry.
this
My
when he was a little bit
condolences, by
healthy.
the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. But when he was healthier, I was talking to him about this. I was in high school in that house that you know of back in Brentwood, New York.
Mhm.
And my neighbor, I was standing at the back window and I saw my neighbor walk in the yard and open the back fence, walk in, close the back fence, and start coming down the walkway. And I turned and I called, "Hey, he's here." His name is Jimmy. I'm like, "Jimmy's here." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And then we waited and he wasn't there. They're like, "I thought you said Jimmy was here." I said, "No, I just saw him." And then I'm looking and I'm like, "He's not there." A half hour later, exactly the position, what he was wearing, what he was holding, he walked through the gate and came up. And I'm like, "Were you just here?" He's like, "No, I just got here. I didn't come to the fence." And he was being honest. And it was like the weirdest thing. And I have no explanation for that. But it's
Like
I don't think,
delayed, like almost like delayed deja vu. Like
yeah,
like
like
the
it was
Vuja
just like
day.
flashback. You're like,
I
yeah, like
saw him and I
really
can
long deja
saw.
vu.
Yeah, but it was weird. I have no explanation for it, but I don't think that's paranormal. I think that's just like a glitch in the matrix, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's sad that I have more of a belief that the Matrix makes more sense than ghosts do. You know, I think I talked about this before on a podcast prior. My biggest belief when it comes to ghosts and when people see apparitions, let's say, and they're always like, right, they're always the same. So we go with transparent, slightly ghostly like, smoky, half bodies, right? What if they're a different dimension, right? That somehow space and time is weaker and it allows echoes or projections through it, right? That to me makes more sense than a ghost, you
Yeah,
know?
Yes.
Neither are provable, so it doesn't matter.
well,
Like,
quantum mechanics, says that multiple universes and dimensions can be real.
possibly could exist, but it also proves that
It
we
says
have
they
no
do.
way of connecting.
Yeah.
But
No,
who's to say, you know? I don't know, but that's just my belief. That's cool. Hey,
No, the thing is, I that is something that I always keep in mind where I go, maybe there is, because there is a fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is time space.
well, yeah,
So
time, sure.
so
right.
with that being said, is like, well, we can't really see it. So how do we know that that's not another dimension or another phase? Or I think you and I discussed this, that time, some people believe that all time is happening at the same time. It
Right.
depends on where you are on the line. So it could be that thin veil of that specific time happens again and you see it. And that's actually one of the points I wanted to bring up about one of these hauntings, is that there could be more explanations than just saying, um, hey, we don't know, or the time. So there's a thing called stone taping. Okay, it's called the stone tape theory, I believe.
Yeah, you
Okay?
mentioned it. I understand it, but I never heard the term before. Like,
Yeah.
explain it. Like,
So
what's the definition of stone taping?
okay, so the origin of the theory, the stone tape theory, was popularized in 1970 by a British archaeologist and parapsychologist Thomas Charles Lethbridge. He proposed that ghosts are not spirits, but rather non-interactive recordings of the past events that somehow were stored in the environment, particularly in buildings and objects made of stone or other materials that can retain these recordings. So basically is on one of the things I'm going to bring up is where they believe this woman was murdered back in the 1700s and her ghost still roams that home. And we'll go into that in a second. But they believe because of the violence of the murder, the house remembers it and echoes it every now and again, like a recording or a stone taping. And that's what they talk about. There is a play from 1972, a BBC television play called The Stone Tape. That play kind of explores the ideas of research teams using advanced technology to uncover some ghostly phenomenons in old mansions, and they theorize that the recordings are past events that are embedded into the stone walls. So that is one of the more popular theories when it comes to ghosts are not actually ghosts, because some
Right.
people don't believe it. Some people say
It's
your
kind of like
spirit.
what I said, like an echo. Like,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah. See, to me, that's so much more plausible when even to itself, someone who believes that the ghosts are real in a different way is equally as plausible to them, and it doesn't matter because with all this technology, we can't find it. We can go to space and go to the moon and do all kinds of crazy shit, but we can't figure this out
Well,
yet.
a good parallel to stone taping is like a cassette tape. I mean, that thin piece is remembering something that was put onto it, and then now you have an actual device that could actually play it back. Like
Right.
200 years ago, if you hid a speaker that didn't exist then, it exists now, and you played one of their dead relatives' voices that you recorded to them, that's a ghost.
Oh,
End of
sure.
story.
So
yeah.
that's the lighter is magic to to a caveman, sure.
So what if the shit that we don't know about? They don't know
Right.
about the speaker and the MP3 that I made.
Yeah.
Ghost to them, fucking ghost till the day they die.
Yeah.
So what the hell do we do?
And yeah, well, you brought up the scientific investigations and stuff like that. And with all those attempts to investigate famous ghost stories, and they use these methods, and then they discuss the results, and they're like, hey, look at these little celebrity things trying to get their name out there. But most of them come out with nothing. You can go online and buy your little ghost recording devices and paranormal recording devices, and none of them are based on anything real. They're like, oh, we're going to check the electromagnetic field in this area because ghosts
No,
give off electric fields. It's like,
how do you know that? And they're like, well, because it's been proven. It's like, no, it hasn't. It's just this device does this. Yes, you're right, but you have
yeah,
no idea that it does what you think it does in that situation.
Well,
I still think back to Ghostbusters, man. Like he's got the little
yeah.
thing,
Well, it's like Dr. Venkman invented this in 1983, and I
right.
know it works because Dr. Venkman is credible.
He
but
figured that shit out. We can do it.
Yeah,
so if somebody says I made a device that can record ghosts, how can you make a device? How do you know what you're looking for to record?
exactly.
Did you capture a ghost, test it, record it, send it free into the world,
Right.
and say, hey, look, let's go find it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
It's so much reaching, like these people, and it really makes me sad in a lot of ways because they want to believe. It's just like people who believe in extraterrestrials or believe in God or believe in whatever it is that we can't prove. They want it so bad that they will justify it any way means possible to continue that kind of magical Santa Claus is real belief. And there's
Yeah.
nothing
Right,
wrong with that. It's just all everyone wants is prove it. Like
right.
I'll
Well,
join in. I'll drink the Kool-Aid, but just
yeah,
fucking prove it, man.
that's what I
And
said. I just need a little proof. Go ahead.
Yeah.
don't kill me over it. If I don't
But
believe it, don't kill me.
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you with these hauntings, they definitely have an impact on society, culture, literature, tourism, just all of that stuff. And as a prime
Everything.
example, I mean, looking for where we're from, Long Island. You've got the Amityville house
Yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah.
Not only are there books, there's movies, there's tourism there, and
Yeah.
it is a famous spot. And it's all based on a killing that was at the house. Now they're saying that it's haunted after those killings. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
You know what's
it
funny? About
brings
10 or 12 years ago, it resold, and the guy who bought it, he put up restraining orders and signs. He was just sick and tired of people coming by the fucking house because he's like, I just moved here. I just want to live in my house. Leave me the fuck alone. And you got to be like it's
Idiot.
never gonna go away.
It-
Like someone sees the movie, I'm gonna go visit the house, and then he's driving by, parking in his driveway, eating sandwiches, and you're like, get the fuck out of here.
well, he had to have known that was the Amityville house. And if he showed
Yes.
up there that naive, he deserves to have family
I
fun
know.
with you.
It's kind of
Absolutely.
infamous and infamous, like you.
Yeah.
I don't know, realism. I agree, but anyway, moving on. Okay.
All right. So anyway, part of the tourism and part of culture. An example is the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Now that inspired The Shining. Now there's tours that go there. There's ghost tours at the Stanley Hotel that you can go and check out. So I think even if they never find ghosts, I think it'll still be a money grab. That's
Oh,
why I'm doing it on my page, is because, well, people are interested in it. And
But that's, I think,
if I find
don't you think it's exactly why is because we don't know and probably never will know. And even if we did come up with proof, there would be so much debunking going on that it would
Right.
last even longer. You know, you
right,
restart it.
and with the debunking, okay, so there is a very famous picture of the brown lady, right? And I kind of talked to you guys about this a little bit beforehand. Um, if we run out of time, we'll jump onto another thing. But the brown lady of Raynham Hall, she's a famous ghost in England. Okay. I don't really want to go into her history and who she was, but she was considered to be the sister of the first prime minister of Great Britain. Now, according to the legend, her name was Dorothy. She was married to Charles Townshend, and he was a second Viscount of Raynham, Raynham, and he was a violent guy, and she had an affair with another person, and Charles found out. With actually Lord Wharton, Wharton, and Charles found out, and there is where it splits a little bit, where it says he locked her away in the hall, and she wasn't allowed to see anybody. She was isolated until she died in 1726. Or there are versions where, I mean, he was known to be a violent guy, that he beat her and killed her. Died under mysterious circumstances. Of course, you got to write history if you're a prime minister and a leader. You write history how you want it. Now, after her death, there was sightings there in the hall where she lived, and she was known as the Brown Lady because she had a brown dress on, and she was seen wearing this dress. Now, there was a famous picture in Country Life magazine in 1936 where she was descending the staircase. They took the picture, and you can go online and look up the Brown Lady and see that picture.
yeah, it's
And
not
people
permission.
are saying, yeah, and they're saying, hey, it's genuine evidence. Now, people say they've been seeing it there. There's a lot of skepticism, but that photograph,
Overexposure. I
yeah,
mean, how'd they take pictures back? It was flash paper back then.
well, in
I don't even know what they
1936, I
used.
don't know. I think they did have flash paper in 1936, but it
Yeah.
was by Captain Herbert C. Proven, and he was in Country Life magazine, and he took that picture. Now, there are experts that looked at the picture, and photography experts suggest the image could be double exposure, which
Right.
is known for back then, or reflection. So that is something that you look at it with that grain of salt and say, hey, from this point of view, that could be just double exposure, or it could be a smudge on the lens, or he could have moved the camera. Now, critics also note that photographers were really aware at that time of the ghost story when they were taking pictures, and so that could really have influenced how that picture came out, because they knew they were specifically looking for the ghost. And to say this guy had the camera ready at the right same second, especially back then, you don't
Yeah.
know. But there are proponents of the authenticity of this photo, And they argue that the conditions of the photo was taken, that these conditions were most unlikely that that's really a ghost. They point out that Provind and Shira, which was part of his photography team, part of the Country America there, they were experienced photographers working with a reputable magazine, and the photo was taken in broad daylight, and the camera is unlikely to produce such a clear and well-defined figure with an accidental double exposure or smudging because it's such a clear woman. Now, despite that debate, that photo actually remains one of the most famous and endearing images of a ghost. So that's why I wanted to bring that up today, is because skeptics of the paranormal and believers, they all look at that and say and have something to say. But you are welcome to, and I believe that we're going to Lifetime of Conversation is going to pop that picture right here on the video when this becomes a YouTube video, and you can see it, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Right.
I love
I always want that. What does other people think? And then you get the conflicting answer. Everyone's going to have an opinion, and that's the thing without the fact. See, and I like what you said, because the first thing I thought was double exposure. Reflection was another one. Mirror play, because even back then, you don't think people were pulling hoaxes all the way back to the 1600s, right? Like,
look at the seances that they did around what was it, Houdini, and him and his wife had that agreement. Hey, I'm going to do a seance. I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you a special word, and if she is going to use word, she's a fraud. And they tried to do the seance and it failed. But seances and stuff like that were mirror tricks and all sorts of tricks.
The literal term for what? Smoke and mirrors, the whole point. But
absolutely,
it's cool. It's interesting. And that's, like you said, people are just going to keep talking about it. Doesn't matter,
Dave, you asked me before if there's anything that happened that was ghost-like. I can't believe I forgot this. I used to play piano at this restaurant on Palm Beach Island, and it's haunted, supposedly. Everybody that works there, without exception, says it's haunted. Somebody showed me a picture they took on their cell phone when they were walking in the kitchen somewhere, and it looked like a ghost, a human figure of a ghost. And the place creeps me the fuck out. I don't know if I can say the name of the place. Maybe.
I wouldn't. Don't bother. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just add.
But everybody knows. I mean, the police on Palm Beach. I mean, just not to be allowed to work there. It's no big secret.
I think it also becomes a convenient excuse, though. So it's like, oh, everybody knows that place is haunted. So when people see something, it could be actually something, but then it's almost like disregarded or dissuaded because, you get all these whack jobs or crazy stories. Nowadays, I think it's even harder. If you took a picture with a cell phone, everyone's going to go, yeah, sure you did.
Yeah, right.
I got an app for that. Right? Like you'd have to really scrutinize that picture, and it would have to be taken to like 17 different professionals to make sure that it was legit. First,
they don't care.
No editing,
They don't want to have it. They don't care. They're not afraid of it. They accepted it for what it is, and they believe it, and they don't care, really.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, wow. Look, he shaved. He did that quick.
Wow, that was fast.
What happened?
Oh, and the crew back just as fast.
Look at your beard go back.
I don't know what's happening, but okay.
All right, so we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back and finish the conversation with Mr. Damon Clownface from Rotten Circus.
And the Lifetime of Apparitions.
We will be back.